right
Yes.
now? Do I look like really thin?
Really?
No?
It's
Wow,
right
okay.
now.
All right, listen. This is for those of you who are at home or those of you who later in the day are doing this on your own on your Chromebook instead of like live with me. So we just did our Give Me a Hand speech, which is 5 points. Introduction, point 1, point 2, point 3, and then conclusion, boys in the back. Right? So that's what we just did. We're going to do that again, but we're expanding it. This is going to be an informative speech. An informative speech informs people of information, right? So you're going to tell us something, you're going to teach us something kind of, right? The topic can be anything, and I need you to pick something you know. Preston.
You said we are gonna finish our speeches.
Oh, we didn't do that?
No.
Okay, we'll do that after this. Let me do this first, and then we'll do that. Wow, this is really bad teaching. Kaylee.
Mine is already talking about how to do something.
Okay, that's fantastic. You're already ahead. Let me finish this so that we can do this video so that they're not bored listening to me answer your questions, right? All right, so here's the thing. On an informative speech, you give us information about something, but I want you to pick something that you already know about, so you don't have to do a lot of research, but there are rules that are a little bit different this time. Number 1, it's still going to be 2 minutes. Thank you for your positive attitudes. Then, number 2, you start with an introduction just like always, but this introduction is different than the last one because it's a personal story. So, it needs to be a story about an experience that you've had with the topic, right? So let's say that you want to do a speech about hunting, right? You might tell a story about a time that you went hunting or something like that. So I might tell a story about how like I used to go hunting with a buddy of mine. I'm not really a hunter. I'm not super into it, but I used to go hunting. I'm not very good at it, right? And I can't shoot things very well. And so we hunted like big game, like, quail and doves and not deer. Look, I went deer hunting one time and it was just too traumatic for me to talk about. But here's what I'll tell you. So I'm out bird hunting with this friend of mine, right? And I can't shoot them if they're flying because they're flying and that's hard. So I didn't know the rules at the time that you're not supposed to shoot them if they're not flying, right? So there was a dove in a tree. It was just a single dove in a tree, like the symbol for peace in a tree. And I shot it and it just went, and I felt horrible. Like I felt awful, and so I discovered that I'm not really into hunting. Right, so that's a personal story that I could tell, and then I could do an informative speech about hunting. But to do that, I need 3 points, just like always. So the end of the introduction, you start with a personal story, and then you end your introduction with your 3 points. So my 3 points for hunting might be, so even though I'm not a big hunter, I do think that there are some things to consider about hunting. First of all, I understand that it's about population control, like conservation, not cruelty, right? It's about conserving our wildlife. Number 2, the deer that you eat, like the game you eat that's wild, is probably healthier for you than the meat that you buy at the grocery store, although hamburger from the grocery store also tastes delicious, right? And then number 3, I need a 3rd point. So what could my 3rd point be? What, Jagger?
Wait.
Did you just raise your hand without an answer in your head?
I do this a lot.
I thought so. All right, listen, 3rd point. Okay, Malachi. Okay, my 3rd point might be something like it is good to get outside and be in nature, right? So those are my 3 points about hunting. So I'm going to list those there. I'm going to tell my personal story, and then I'm going to say, so I want to talk to you today about hunting, and I want to tell you these 3 things. Then you go each point, right? And it's just the same. I'll give you an outline template to help you, but you just write some words to help you get through point 1, point 2, and point 3. Remember, it's not an essay. You don't write out a paragraph. You just write some notes that you need. Then at the end, you'll have a conclusion. And so those are some 3 things about hunting. 1, 2, 3. Right? Or whatever your topic is. I'm not saying it has to be hunting. It could be about football. Explain football. What's a quarterback? Why is it called a quarterback when the quarterback is halfway down the line? He should be called a halfback. I don't get it. Explain that to me. Right? It doesn't matter. I'm not asking right now. I'm saying that you could do that. Don't think, listen, if you're going to pick a topic, assume your audience doesn't know anything about it, even if you know they do. I don't care. It needs to be like, just give me information. Zoe.
Are you allowed to do something that somebody already
You are allowed to do something that somebody already did because this is your informative speech. Malachi. No, you got to do the outline. Remember, you get points for the outline. You get points for the speech. You get points for the outline. You get points as an audience member. There are 3 points. There. Listen. Next thing you need to know. All right, this is important. One of these points has to have a source. A source is an expert or somebody that you have researched. You can use the entire internet, any website you can get onto with your Chromebook in school. Find a source, I don't care, just find a source that gives you some information. So you could say, according to hunters.com, deer are delicious or whatever, right? But you need to find some information and it's gotta go in one of these. You only have to have one and only one of your points has to have a source. So the main requirements are 1, personal story, 3 points. 2, a source somewhere in your speech, and then you'll end with a conclusion. Last question before we stop the video. So Jagger.
This isn't a question, but something to say is don't just think of something because you have to have a personal story that goes with it.
Right, that's exactly right. Yeah. So it has to be something you're connected to, right? Something that you already have an experience with. Last thing I'll say, this is listen, guys in the back, for you guys on who are watching this on video. There is a template for the outline next to this video in Classroom, so use that. You can, or actually I'll just give you a printout of it. If you're at home and you can't print it out, you can just type your own version of it. If you don't want to write your outline and you want to type it, you can just type your own version of it in a Google Doc. That's it for now.